With Gray Zone Warfare officially launching tomorrow, I wanted to make a video about 10 things you guys need to know before diving into this. These tips and tricks are gonna help you guys get out on the right foot. If you weren't lucky enough to play the early access playtest, well, this video is going to be for you. So let's get into it, and I'm sure you guys are gonna enjoy it. So let's start with the basics. You open up your big map and you're wondering what is going on here. Well, so you guys know, there are three factions. You have the Crimson faction, which is at the northwest. You have Lemang, which is at northeast, and at the south you have Mithras. But now you know your faction will be labeled as blue and the opposition will be labeled as red. If you notice closely, you can actually see blue dots on the map and you can see a green dot. The blue dots are your faction and the green dots are the players that are in your squad. Surrounding this location, you can see there are multiple LZs, and those are LZs you can pick to land. And you can see I have blue forces moving north, and then I do have my squad member inside the fort right now with another faction member. The great thing about this is you always know where your faction members are. So if you see a guy solo on a map, you can always go and help him, which really creates a really cool gameplay loop that I really enjoy, because I know if I want to go help a teammate out, a faction member, I can always do that by opening up my map and looking at where my blue dots are. Now, the helicopter is going to be your main form of transportation. It's going to get you from point A to point B the fastest on the map, besides trying to hike the whole map. You could select an LZ, you call in the chopper, and it will take you there. Now, if you get on the helicopter and you notice your teammates didn't and you want to get off, you can actually hit spacebar on your keyboard and it will allow you to jump off the helicopter before it takes off. Now, the loadout that you take out there is going to be key to your survival. Remember, you're going to need water to stay hydrated. You're going to need food to keep your energy levels up, medical supplies to help you heal and heal your teammates when you're out on the battlefield. And obviously, you'll be able to take a helmet, ear pro, a chest rig, a bag. You'll have one primary weapon, you'll have a knife, you'll have a secondary weapon, which is going to be your pistol, and then you can actually carry another primary in your bag. I would also recommend carrying at least 3 magazines, some ammo, because you're going to run through ammo, clearing out AI, and then if you fight any players, you're going to need that too, and any keys that you find out there that you may need for a current quest. Now, you do have a safe lockbox, and the one we had in the playtest was a 2x2. Now, if you end up getting the supporter edition, you get the 3x3, which I think I'm going to upgrade my standard edition for the supporter edition for this next phase. Now, you're going to want to make sure that you end up doing a lot of your quests, because that's going to level up your vendors and help you unlock other vendors. Now, each vendor will give you a quest that helps you gain rep with that one vendor. But what's going to happen is, as you keep leveling them up, as you get higher rank rep with each vendor, they'll start to sell you better and better gear. So that's something you're really going to want to focus on early on in the game, so that way you're not stuck trying to level those up when the other factions are way ahead of you. Then they're going to have better gear and better weapons, and then those gunfights are going to be a little bit harder. Now, during the playtest, we weren't able to shoot from the helicopter, but that is something they are adding. So no longer will you have to suffer what I had to suffer right here. You will be able to shoot that guy without him shooting you, because you take no damage when you're in the helicopter, but now you'll be able to do damage to them, which is going to help those LZ camping situations that we had in the early play tests. Now, this game does have proximity chat, and it has squad proximity chat and then open world proximity chat. Now, if you are talking in the open world to another team member and you have proximity chat on, any enemy that's within a vicinity is going to be able to hear you. So you want to be very careful about how much communication you're doing when you know there's other enemy players in the area. Because if you are talking too much, not only is your teammate going to hear you, but the enemy's going to hear you. And they keep improving on it as each day went by during the playtest, and I can't wait to see how well it works in the full version. Now, one of the best features of this game is you're on a server. Now, what does that mean for Gray Zone Warfare? Well, if you end up dying, you can fly back to the same place, the same area where you died, and pick up your stuff, as long as you don't die 2 times. So the first time you die, your body will stay there with all its gear. Now, the second time you die, well, that body disappears, and then now your body with whatever you have is going to be in the new location. So that is something for you guys to keep in mind, that you can go back and get your stuff, which is a win-win for me, because I feel like sometimes the AI one taps you, you can just fly back out there if you know there's no enemy in the area, go grab your stuff, and then continue on with your quest line. Now, as you progress with your vendors during the quest lines, there's going to be different armor types that's going to be a little bit better than your standard armor that you can buy at the lower vendors. And then obviously there's going to be better ammo. So keep progressing through the quest line, because that's going to help you in the long term. And remember, there is no time limit on how long you can be out in the open world. If you can survive for hours, you can stay out there. You can loot up, get food, get gear, get medical supplies, and you might be out in the open world exploring for 3-4 hours without ever going back to your base. Now, I wouldn't recommend that, because I do recommend you actually heading back to your base so you can turn in those quests. You can drop off some of the loot that you might have gotten from the open world, or drop off some of that loot you stole from the players you've killed. So that is a reason why you're gonna wanna go back to your base. But in reality, you can stay out in the open world with never going back to your base and survive as long as you can survive. Now, when you wanna exfil and you wanna head back to the home base, you just need to call in an extraction to that home base, and it's gonna pick the LZ that is closest to you. Now, if you look at your map, it will actually tell you how close that heli is to your location. So sometimes it'll be 2 minutes out, 3 minutes out, but that will be on the map, so you will always know how long it takes. Now, the question is, what happens when you die? So if a player does kill you, right, you end up back at your home base, and you'll end up with nothing but what was in your safe lockbox, as you can see here, and a knife. Then you just need to go to your vendors, buy new gear or equip gear that's in your locker, right? It's really up. If you already have the gear, well, you just equip it and then fully load out and then head back out there. I did notice more and more weapons as I leveled up my vendors. I didn't get a ton of weapons, but I did have access to suppressors, different types of scopes, different types of weapons, and there was already a lot of different options for you to fully customize the weapons how you want to play. Now, there is a mini map that you can always pull up that will pop up on your screen like this, or you can open up the big map that you saw before. And that mini map can be very useful for when you're raiding as a big group. Say you have 10 faction members all raiding, you pull up that mini map and you can see where each blue dot is, and it'll let you know if you have a friendly or enemy in front of you. Now remember, if you don't enjoy PvP, there will be PvE only servers, so you can go on there and just PvE as much as you want. Now, if you enjoy that aspect of having PvE and PvP and never knowing who is around the corner, well, that's what the PvE VP servers will be. Hopefully you guys dive into this one. I tell you, after 65 hours of gameplay, I had a blast playing the early access, and I'll be live tomorrow right here on this channel, so hopefully you guys join me. I'm excited for this one. I'll see you guys in the next one. Hey, nothing but skills out. Take it easy, everybody.